So there's been some interesting updates regarding the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin. It's largely good news, so I'm going to say that for the end. But we're going to be talking about more of the implications of deciding to go to one of these violent riots. Now, before I continue, I just want to say really quick, there's two really good, compelling arguments. Now, I've listened to both sides, at least for people who are sane and normal like myself who are debating about this. So people, most gun channels, they're more like rah, 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 our obligation to, our responsibility to the community, rah, 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 America. And I'm all about that shit. So they're arguing, look, innocent Americans are being victimized. They're being terrorized, intimidated, extorted, just completely. Their lives are being ruined because of the violent Black Lives Matter activist thugs. And people like Kyle Rittenhouse are standing up to them. They're showing up to places like Kenosha, Wisconsin, and they're cleaning up the trash. They're removing graffiti. He's doing everything right. This kid was a lifeguard. He isn't exactly medically trained, but he's probably got more training than all the BLM medics, all these Black Lives Matter medics that you hear screaming in the streets when somebody like trips and falls and scrapes their elbows or something. Infinitely more experienced in my estimation. So I can commend regular traditional Americans. I can understand. I can respect that. I genuinely do. I'm not being snarky or anything like that. I genuinely respect Americans who are standing up and saying enough is enough. We're going to deter the violence. We're going to protect this property. And, because the cops won't do it. The mayors and the governors won't do it. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they can't even condemn violence. They can't condemn it at all. And it's literally happening right in front of them. There's HD 4K video of it. And they're just like, nope, it's mostly peaceful. The fake news industry also running cover and interference for the violent Black Lives Matter activist thugs. So people are saying, you know what, we're going to stand up to it. And I can respect it. But then there's the other side of the argument. And I lean more towards it. But I am torn between these two very compelling arguments. For obvious reasons. And again, I'd love to hear everyone's opinion on this. But if I am Kyle Rittenhouse's father, and I found out that he was going to one of these riots, I would fucking ground him, and I would whoop his monkey ass. And I would just be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, kid? Like, I get it. He's doing everything right in life. 17-year-old, has a job. He's thinking about his future. He wants to save people's lives. I'd be proud if that was my kid. But fucking A, man, a kid should not be going to a riot. I go crazy seeing parents with little baby strollers or wearing the little fucking poncho thing with the baby in it. These people are dumb. These people are fucking dumb. And again, Kyle is different because he's 17, obviously not a baby, but still, like, if I was his father, that'd be my baby. And I don't want to see my kid getting fucking stomped to death by a bunch of Black Lives Matter activist thugs and the whole world seeing it, and then half of the country laughing about it. That would fucking drive me crazy. Shouldn't be cussing, but it would drive me absolutely insane. It would. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine it. And now, people are making jokes about things happening to Kyle while he's in the showers while incarcerated. That's what the family is going through right now. The family's address is published. They're probably being needlessly harassed. I'm almost certain that's the case because that's what these violent Black Lives Matter activist thugs like to do. They like to victimize innocent people and then show up to their house and terrorize the families because these people are disgusting and they got no soul. They got no principles. The only thing they got on their mind is power. It's a power game to them. That's all they care about. That's all they want. I would be upset with Kyle if he tried to go to this riot because I don't want him to be a victim. I don't want him to die. And, but again, it's just like there's two sides to this thing, and I totally agree with it. And then a lot of people like to say, it's like, oh, well, he has no business being there. What business is he? First off, fuck you. It's none of your fucking business why someone goes somewhere. It's a peaceful protest. It's allegedly a peaceful protest. Why can't he go and exercise his First Amendment rights? It's an open carry state. You can have a gun, not a problem. Where's the controversy exactly? Well, Now you have a situation, or how about this? Why not, maybe things would have been played out differently if those violent Black Lives Matter activist thugs didn't engage in rioting behavior. Maybe if they stopped setting things on fire, maybe if they stopped ruining American lives, tearing down their businesses, stealing all their stuff, maybe people like Kyle wouldn't need to exist. He's a good kid. He really is. But you got all people, all good people listening, genuinely think about your lives, genuinely think about your futures, think about your families. The hell you're going to put them through is not worth it. The property you're defending is not fucking worth it. I don't give a shit if it's a luxury car, a comic book, a piece of bread. It is not a fucking window. It's not worth your life. I'm leaning towards that. Let these violent thugs, these Black Lives Matter activists, these professional activists, let them show the world who they are. And you need to show the world who you are by your actions. You will be more effective having conversations with people in your life and telling them that you don't stand for this, that you don't support this, that these Democratic governors and mayors and these other police chiefs, that they have failed the citizenry and that it is wise to vote accordingly in November. You are more effective doing that than showing up to a place like Kenosha, Wisconsin with a gun defending a property that isn't even your own. Now, I get Americans' lives are being destroyed, and I get the desire and the appeal to protecting them, but you got to think about your future, man. You got to be smart, because ain't nobody coming to save you. They'll come after all the mayhem. They'll come after things kind of settle down, and then you'll be arrested. And if you're lucky, you'll get an impartial prosecutor, you'll get an impartial district attorney, you'll get an impartial venue. Worst case scenario, they're going to throw every fucking charge imaginable at you, and nobody will come to save you. The governor won't, not the governor of Wisconsin. He's a cuck. Patriot Prayer supporter, it's a conservative, supports Donald Trump, ended up passing away, ruthlessly shot in the streets in Portland the other night. As I'm making this video. Let's go ahead and show you the images. I don't know too much about the encounter. I saw one small video. The president's son is even quoting parts of the video, something to the effect of, the Trump supporter right here, we got one right here. And they ended up shooting him. I don't believe this man was armed. I would have found out about it earlier. I honestly haven't looked into this, but how does this help? Honestly, showing up, like I'm not blaming the victim. I don't want to blame the victim, but it makes more sense to stay home, because now you have literally half of the country celebrating the death of this guy. The family must be going through hell. I can't even imagine. And these are my people. I love Patriot Prayer. I know what they're about. They're good dudes. Proud Boys. They're non-violent. They're peaceful guys. Multiracial, if it fucking matters. They're not out there doing this junk. I don't want my friends to die. I just don't think it's worth showing up to these things. I think letting these people burn things, destroy things, let their actions speak for themselves, and then we can all make a wise decision on November 3rd. This year in 2020, get Trump in office, give Trump Congress, maintain the Senate, and then we organize and we start talking with the people and start recalling these Democratic governors and mayors. Talk with your family. Talk with your friends. Stop being afraid to have these conversations. If you're brave enough to go to places like Kenosha, Wisconsin, or Portland during these violent riots, then you should have no problem articulating good arguments, making a case for why we should do everything in our power to be the exact opposite of these people, to do the exact opposite of these people, to envision a world that it's antithetical to everything that Black Lives Matter believes in. I want to show you some more insanity. Arthur Schwartz tweets out, here's a Huffington Post reporter, Arthur Delaney, apparently comparing Antifa murdering a Trump supporter in cold blood with paintball. If you think that justifies the murder of an innocent man, you need help. Well, it wasn't Antifa, it was Black Lives Matter. I'm almost certain of it. I've seen the individual that 4chan allegedly believes is the shooter. He had a Black Power fist tattooed on his neck. Arthur Delaney writes, must have missed a Trump campaign asking supporters not to drive around shooting people with paintballs and pepper spray in the campaign's name. Well, when you have violent, rioting thugs, unruly Black Lives Matter activist thugs who are throwing rocks, beating the shit out of your car, the paintball guns are necessary. The pepper spray is necessary. But nonetheless, I will say this, and I don't give a shit if people call me a cuck, but sensible, rational conservatives, please do not do this. If you feel the need that you need to take pepper spray or paintball guns with you to protect your vehicle or to protect yourselves, you probably shouldn't go. You're in Portland. It's a crazy place. The leadership is obviously lacking. Don't put yourself at risk. What if you raise your paintball gun, your Tippmann 98, your Tippmann X7 Phenom, or maybe your RAP4 468 PTR? These are black guns that look very realistic, right? They look like the Tippmann TMC, something to that effect. And then one of these violent thugs uses that as an excuse to shoot you. And they might even be justified because they will say, I'm feared for my life. They aimed what looked like a real firearm at me. I was scared. I saw smoke coming out of the barrel of this gun, which is not smoke, it's CO2. And, is that how you want your life to end? You drive through Portland. As funny as it was to see these giant American flags, these giant Trump flags, and very badass looking, MAGA bros, these protesters. As funny as it was to see this shit, I love you guys, and I don't want you to fucking die for this. There are better ways to do this. I promise you. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. I'm not here to game anybody. There is good news, though. We're going to end this video off on a good note. L. Linwood is one of the most prestigious legal minds in the nation. He's one of the most talented lawyers in this nation. If you're in some deep doo-doo, you want L. Linwood in your corner fighting for you. This is the man. L. Linwood is the individual who ended up representing Richard Jewell. Richard Jewell is almost identical to Kyle Rittenhouse. Richard Jewell was a very overzealous, a university police officer. He ended up getting fired because he was too good at his job. He was annoying the kids and stuff. And then he was a security guard at an event, I think it was in the 90s, and there was a bombing at this event. He ended up seeing the suspicious package. He called it out. He ended up saving many lives that day. Richard Jewell is a hero. The fake news industry is calling him a loser, calling him a loner, basically calling him an incel, this desperate cringe lord who has these wild fantasies about being law enforcement and just being like this wannabe. Well, he did end up becoming a cop. And L. Linwood ended up taking the fake news industry to court. And he won. Richard Jewell died a millionaire. Unfortunately, he died in his 40s or 50s because he couldn't stop eating hamburgers. I'm not trying to make fun of him, but he really should have been careful with what he was eating. May he rest in peace. God bless you, Richard Jewell. But again, when Kyle Rittenhouse started having articles published about him, he's the young little dick incel warrior who's obsessed with law enforcement. And then, of course, he looks really dorky in, his little baby cadet uniform. I thought it was adorable. But, of course, the left doesn't see it that way. They see a little Gestapo, brown shirt. They see a violent Nazi. That's what they see, a white supremacist, even though he's Hispanic. Well, the good news is L. Linwood has compiled, has put together a rock star legal team. He's been putting out a lot of really amazing statements. And, they're going in, guns blazing, swinging their fists, and they're going to be fighting for this kid. So we got to pray that L. Linwood is safe. He was talking about his safety in another tweet. I'm not going to come digging for it now, but look up L. Linwood. I mean, he's the real deal. This guy's the real deal. So again, let's pray that they succeed. I don't want to speculate too much on what charges are going to stick. If they're going to drop the whole thing altogether. Again, given the political, given the change of people's politics surrounding Black Lives Matter and all these riots, maybe the jury will end up being totally sympathetic towards Kyle Rittenhouse, and they're going to decide not to ruin his life and let him off the hook. We don't know what's going to happen. If I were to be a betting man, I think some of the, I think they'll probably, oh man, maybe some of the reckless endangerment stuff might stick, but even then, that's not really obvious that it will. Probably possessing the firearm as a minor when he really shouldn't have been. Maybe that'll stick, but that's a misdemeanor. He'll probably get time served plus like probation or parole or whatever. Again, just pray for these people. Pray we succeed. And honestly, think about your families. You know, all the MAGA dudes in the cities. Because I'm in the city. I'm not gonna fucking go out there and get my ass blown off. Dude, fuck that. Just think smart, man. Again, if you're courageous enough to go to a riot, you should be courageous enough to have very difficult conversations with people. Don't be forceful. Be smart. Again, always be smart and be careful with whatever it is you're doing. God bless. Peace out.